So training modalities. So before we actually get into some exercises, I think it's important that for a coach to establish your coaching system, your teaching system, your pedagogical approach to developing these drills and skills, the coordination of that. And I think it's important to set that up, making sure that you can observe, internalize that, and compare that against that model, the technical model, and then be able to give that feedback. So your observation skills are really key as well. So that's what we're talking about with that teaching system. Drills and teaching, and again, there's a lot of discussion and debate about this. Drills doesn't necessarily mean to say you're going to develop that technique with the drills. I think for me, the drills are very much about conceptual teaching, teaching positions, teaching shapes. I think that's really key, rather than thinking if you're going to do loads of drills, that's going to transition into doing the right technique. I think it's about, again, understanding the concept of those, what you're trying to achieve with the athlete on that. And that has to be done in situ, in whatever environment or context that you employ that in. In terms of parts of the system, we're going to show a series of exercises that are fundamental exercises from skipping right through. But again, we can look at teaching progressions and how we can make it more complex or making it easier. Again, that's just to challenge the athlete, but progress it as well. And again, the exercises need to be related to the event. And it's important that we can do it in part. We can look at shaping and chaining and look at whole part whole and bringing it all together. That's the key point, is that when we're teaching the approach, the penultimate, the takeoff, it's important that we can take that apart and focus on that in isolation. But I think it's important that we bring all those sequences together and we exercise and train those parts. Anything you want to add on that?
No.
Frank, in terms of your teaching?
No, rhythm becomes part of it as well, but I'm sure you're going to capture that on the
next. No, absolutely. And rhythm is something that I suppose it can only be done at speed. You can't teach someone the rhythm if you're coming in at, 2 steps, 4 steps. It's difficult to do. So fundamental exercises. So again, we were looking at skipping for height, skipping for distance, running jumps. So for me, I'm just going to, rather than go through each of those, we'll show the video. And the one that I don't have in the video is the mat drills, and it's something that I mentioned earlier around the penultimate. And again, it's something that you can play around with on that. John Shepherd, do a search for him. He'll have some videos and stuff on that to help you with that area as well. So let's quickly go to that final one. So again, just normal skipping. And this is alternate leg, so it doesn't really matter which takeoff leg. And I think it's important when that's one leg. We'll just run it through, and then we can kind of revisit it again and pause. And hopefully you can start to see the progressions of the takeoff drills and how they become more complex and the intensity. So this is 1 step drill now. So 1 step, and then we bring the arms in. So again, we're adding a little bit more complexity with the coordination. And then we're adding obstacles now. We're looking at that kind of task constraints and changing the environment to get the desired outcome. And last is, I think it's important, just when we're watching that video there, is that when we're landing, we want to teach a safe landing position. So this kind of demonstration, the athlete landed in a single leg. I think it's important just for safety that we land in 2 foot or completely full jump. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I like to see, with those drills that he did, I like to see a bit more dorsiflex on the lead. Yeah.
So let me quickly just go through, demonstrate them. So this is just skipping. And again, it's important that we do both legs, not just developing one leg. Although if you're a left leg or a right leg takeoff, I think it's important to develop both sides, or you're going to get one side stronger than the other. Here we're looking at skipping, but just looking at the takeoff leg, just one leg, and you do it both sides. And again, what we do now is, rather than saying giving the athlete lots of different cues, and I want you to think about driving the knee up, and I want you to get extension off the ground. All you do is we set up a series of hurdles, an appropriate spacing, and just say, right, drive the foot over the hurdle, and then let them solve that puzzle. So what we're doing now is giving them movement puzzles to solve within that training. And we're seeing that desired outcome. Does that give us the outcome that we're looking for? Yes or no? If it doesn't, I want to see greater lift, I want to see more height. I could say to the athlete, give me more height, give me more lift, or I can change the environment and I can look at throwing in some hurdles that are higher and see how he negotiates them.
So if you can just pause it for a little bit, just as he goes over the hurdle. Yeah, keep going. Right, you see that lead leg?
Yeah.
I like to see the foot kicked out a little bit more, so the foot is directly underneath the knee.
The knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the moment it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Good point. So now what we've done now is we've increased the distance. So we've kept the height the same, but now we've increased the distance and say, right, have a shot at that. And again, we're probably still seeing what you don't like, that foot tucked in too much.
Yeah.
Again, now we're looked at, rather than skipping, we're looking at a one stride takeoff. And this athlete's a hitch kick, so we're looking at those initial arm exchanges at takeoff. What we're going to do now is, again, it's a one stride takeoff. So rather than having the free leg going over the side of the hurdle, and now asking the athlete to go directly over the hurdle. And I think, Frank, for me, I think once we've done that, we start to see that's a really nice position.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the knee is probably a bit higher than what we would want to see in the takeoff as a result of some of the stuff that we saw before. But I think great range, great position. We've got that foot dorsiflex and that foot sitting just underneath the knee.
So as they get better, obviously the height of the hurdle is going to go up. So they do go a lot higher than what we see at the moment. Yeah,
absolutely. But I think it's important though that as we increase the height of the hurdles, we need to make sure you still see the desired outcome that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And if you start seeing them collapsing and folding to try and negotiate that, and the shape doesn't look right, then it's too high. That be fair? Yeah.
Yep.
And then we're going into 3, 1, 2, 3, take off. 1, 2, 3, take off. And again, with these, we can start introducing. With all of these, really, we could then finish off that rep into the sandpit, and you can change your positions, and athletes can start playing with steering a little bit if they want, and making sure that they make those adjustments before coming into the pit.